Examination of this witness.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to show you, may I approach, Your Honor?
You may, and you have continuing permission.
Let me recognize this.
Yes, so Exhibit 6 is a partial fingernail broken that was recovered inside the home of Allison Feldman underneath the table that I had talked about earlier.
And is that the fingernail that you had seen? Is that the condition it's in?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, move to admit this exhibit, the state stipulated.
Okay, and just want to put on the record that's correct.
Correct, Judge.
Okay, it's ordered admitting Exhibit 6 into evidence.
May I publish, Your Honor?
You may. And just for the record, this was handed to the jury and they are passing around Exhibit 6. And if you could collect that, please. Thank you.
The sheer breaking of the nail off of the fingernail off the finger.
Do you have any experience with the amount of pressure that would be necessary to remove that type of nail?
Do I have any?
Any experience that would give you information on how hard it would be to remove or how much pressure would be needed to remove that part of the nail?
No, I don't.
Thank you. You know, I've marked 5 pictures as an exhibits. Exhibit 561, 562, 563, 566, 569. I've shown them to the state, and I'd move to admit these photos at this time.
And any objection?
No objection, Judge.
Okay, sorry, could you tell me those numbers again? 561, 562?
563, 566, and 569.
Thank you. It's ordered admitting those exhibits into evidence.
Okay. Lieutenant, we had talked about this broken bottle, and you had looked at the actual exhibit of the item. Is this a depiction or a picture of the bottle that you saw that day?
Yes.
Okay, and is that where it was when you saw it?
Looking at photo marker 80 here, yes, that would have been in the position. It looks like at the top there's a arrow marker depicting, I believe,
Let me see
north.
if I can move it and give you more.
Yeah, north. So it just indicates as to what direction north is in relation to the bottle that was found on the floor, on that wood tiled floor.
Okay, and That looks like what you saw that day,
That, yes, yes, sir.
And for the record, what exhibit number was that?
561.
561, thank you.
And now I'm looking at 562. Is there a way to make this? Is there a way to adjust this where I can get more of the picture? Okay. Is that the same bottle?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Is that the condition it was in when you saw it?
Yes.
And there's no tissue or blood on the bottle cap, correct? That you can see?
When I was at the crime scene, I did not observe any blood or tissue located on that bottle
Okay.
at that time.
Did you look for that?
I didn't look close enough to it. I didn't have a magnifying glass or anything like that. I just was visually looking at it from standing up and looking down at it.
Okay, but you did take note of that at the time,
Yes, I would have taken note if I did see something like that.
for sure, yes. Photograph number 563, exhibit number 563, is it the same with this photo?
Yes, sir.
And that's just a different direction?
Compared to 562?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. This is 569. You'd earlier testified that you had, that you were changing your recollection of what the name of the beer was based upon this bottle cap?
Yes,
And same issue with the blood and tissue?
yes.
And I believe that at first you had thought the type of Leinenkugel's it was, is it summer shanty?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. And what type of beer is that?
Leinenkugel's.
Okay, but what is that like, I know some Leinenkugel beers come out at different times of the year. Is that a beer that comes out, say, in the summer versus another time of the year, if you know?
Off the top of my head, I don't know the distribution of Leinenkugel's. Historically, I've seen it in the summer, but it doesn't mean that you can't buy it year-round.
Okay. This is exhibit number under 566. And that's the same bottle cap
Yes, sir.
or the bottleneck?
Yes.
Okay. Is that your finger in the bottleneck?
No.
Okay. Do you know whose finger it is?
No, sir.
Okay. There seem to be little discolored spots on the glove that's on the finger. Do you know anything about that?
Are you talking about the yellow discoloration on the rubber glove?
Yes.
I believe that is just due to the age of sometimes of the gloves. I don't know as to why that discoloration occurs on those type of latex gloves.
Okay. Have you seen it before?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. I believe we've established it was either the 20th or the 21st. That would be either Friday or Saturday that the bottle was collected. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And do you have a recollection of what was going on in the scene at that time?
On which day?
I was thinking Saturday.
Saturday would have been our last day there.
Yes.
So we were doing our final wrap-up of the investigation. The majority of evidence had been collected, and we were now finishing up, kind of collecting some of the bigger items, the couch, the table, some of the kind of ending the process of all the forensic collection inside the home.
When you say we, who was that?
I'm sorry. Yes.
When you say we, who
We
was it?
being the Scottsdale Police Department, the crime scene investigation team, myself, Detective Heinzelman, and our crime scene specialists that were working with us.
Any patrol officers there?
No, sir.
Okay. And
Well, let me, if I made
Okay.
it correct, there was patrol officers there. They were providing external security. Basically, they're just at the front of the home, but they weren't inside the crime scene. I'm sorry, I need to clarify that.
Okay. Am I correct that there were some of these were large bulky items like the couch,
Yes,
and they were being moved into a U-Haul
yes,
to be transported to some kind of storage area?
yes, to our Property and Evidence Division, where they have a ability to house some of these larger items.
Okay. And there were doors, for example? In addition
Yes.
to the couch? Okay.
Yep.
And other pieces of furniture?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. And did that take all day?
No, not really. I think we wrapped up in the early evening hours. And I think we started probably mid-morning. So I think we were just logistically trying to get some of these pieces in place so we could move some of these items and move them down there. And I think we ended our time there in the 7:30 range of Saturday.
And did you have any gloves on when you're transporting all these items?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Okay. What type of gloves?
Rubber gloves, latex.
Okay, what color?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not really sure what color of gloves I had at the time. I don't recall what the color was.
Okay. And would you go from item to item with those gloves on as far as moving the items and loading them in the truck?
No, I believe I would don a different set of gloves if I needed to switch from one piece of evidence to another.
Okay, is that the guideline?
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is. You
Okay.
should do that so you mitigate any type of risk of cross-contamination.
Okay, how about the other people at the scene?
I don't know about everyone else, but I know for myself, that's what I would have done.
So was there a discussion ahead of time with what type of protective devices people should be wearing?
Amongst the detectives or amongst the entire team?
Amongst the detectives?
I don't remember specifically having a discussion as to what we should or should not wear.
Okay. I have just a few more things and then the state can do the direct. Okay. You had mentioned before that you were aware of a person named James Katsilamitis.
Yes, I'm aware of that individual. Yes.
And how did you become aware of that person?
There was a tip that came in through the police department, potentially of Mr. Casimili's involvement, and so Detective Heinzelman and Detective McWilliams conducted an interview with him.
Now, was this a time that Detective McWilliams was still the case agent?
This would have been in 2017. I don't remember what role Detective McWilliams was at that time when he spoke with him.
Do you recall being actively involved in that specific issue
The issue, I'm sorry, what was?
with Katsilamitis?
The issue of
In that
interviewing him?
month of July 2017?
I'm sorry, make sure I understand your question. Was I actively involved in his interview?
No, in the tip coming in and the need to pursue it further.
No, I don't recall anything specific that came about that my involvement with his interview.
Okay. There was an officer who went to the scene in response to their request on another issue, and they related, at least as far as the tip. Someone called in with an issue, an officer went to see them. They related the information with that tip, but then they also were troubled and they talked to the officer about another issue concerning Mr. Katsilamitis. The name of the officer that took that was an Officer Myers. Is that anyone that you would know from patrol?
Officer Myers. There's a couple different Myers that work in the police department. I don't have any independent recollection as to what this officer did that day.
Okay. But you don't know that as a result of that, Detective Heinzman went and interviewed those two people?
Yeah, I'm not following your line of questioning as to what two people you're referring to.
Okay. Let me see if I can find that report.
Okay.
The name of the officer is Keith Myers, 1441. Does that help
Yes, sir.
you determine who that is? So
Yep.
do you know who that is?
I do know who that is.
Okay. Is that someone that you worked with when you were supervisor in patrol?
Officer Myers at the time was not in my squad of officers. He worked in an adjacent district, roughly the same time frame. So I had intermediate contact with him from a supervisory side, from calls for service in the police department. But that's at that time, that would have been my relation or my interaction with him.
Okay. I have a copy of his field contact report. I don't think I can ask you to refresh your recollection because I don't think you've said that you've seen it.
Okay.
You haven't seen this report, correct? Would it help you if you saw it and maybe?
Well, I mean, I was the supervisor for violent crime, so I went through the entire case file, but I didn't really, I didn't have a chance to review that specific document for today.
Okay.
But I probably have reviewed it in the past.
Okay. Would it refresh your recollection if I let you review it as to whether or not you understand the facts within the document?
Yes, yes, sir.
May I approach, Your Honor?
You show it to this.
Oh, sorry.
You may.
So you had indicated that you're aware of who James Katsilomites is. I'm just going to go back to get understanding of what your understanding is, but that you weren't involved in this specific incident because this was during the time that you were kind of converting over. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I'm not sure what incident you're referring to. Is there a time or a date?
Yeah,
that you
July
can-
22nd at 4:17,
On what year?
2017.
So I would have
2016, sorry.
16, July of 2016, 17th,
22nd.
22nd. Yes, I would have been supervisor of violent crimes at that time.
Okay. At what point did you look at the file?
That would have been that would have been after I transferred to violent crimes right around that time frame of July of 2016. So I don't know, I have a specific recollection as to what date I started looking at it. I just know,
Okay.
it was something that I reviewed quite easily or quite frequently. Not all at one time, though.
Would you have directed Detective Heinzelman to interview the subjects that were named by Keith Myers on this date? If he had recommended that a detective go and interview these people, would you have followed up on that?
I don't remember if I directed them to interview him. That would have been something if they got word from the officer, like, hey, I think this person needed to be interviewed. The expectation would be that they'd go follow up on that interview. I don't know if they necessarily need direction to go do that, but that they would take it upon their own initiative to do that.
Okay. Do you have any information relating to the follow-up interview that Detective Heinzelman did following this officer's report?
Again, without having to look at that report, I would assume so, but I can't speak.
Okay.
I don't know what's in that document that you're referring to.
Thank you. All right. I may have another question on that, but I'm going to move to something else.
Okay.
You and Detective Heinzelman met with a group of people, it may have been online, called the Vidocq Society. I may be pronouncing that wrong. Is that right?
It's called the VDOC Society.
Okay. And who are they?
They're a group of professionals in the criminal justice field that are based in Philadelphia. And they assist with investigations that have gone stale, maybe have gone cold. They have a the group of committee consists of different professionals from different areas of expertise within criminal justice, whether it be crime scene, interviews, psychology, and they're kind of based off of they're formatted behind a French criminal turned detective that kind of in the 1700s.
And is that something that you had decided that Scottsdale should be doing?
Yes.
Okay. And did you prepare a presentation for them?
Yes, we did.
And did you get feedback on that presentation?
We got different areas of feedback. Yes.
Okay. And I'm not asking about the entire presentation. I just want to clarify that in that presentation, in that feedback, at least as of that date, which was May of 2017, that you were concerned about PMH and the DNA associated with PMH, correct?
Yes.
And you, at that point, were still looking at Alex as a possible suspect?
No.
You weren't?
No, we weren't.
Okay. So did you get feedback from people that attended your presentation as to what you should do with Alex?
Specifically what they told us?
Yeah.
Or,
Judge, I'm going to object as to what they told him.
Sustained.
Yes, okay. Did you get feedback?
yes, we did.
Okay. Did you follow up on that?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Was any of that feedback related to Alex?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, just about done. Do you recall dealing with someone, this is a report that you wrote. I want to get his first name. His last name is Elrod. Let's see. Winton Elrod?
No, sorry, it doesn't ring a bell.
It would have been March the 12th of 2016. The person that, there was a warrant out, he had a bond and there was a warrant for him.
The name, again, the name doesn't ring a bell as to the significance behind that person.
If I showed you the supplement that you wrote, would that refresh your recollection as to what had occurred?
Yes, sir.
Okay. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, and if you could show it to the state, please. And what exhibit number is that?
It's not an exhibit, and that's the state's issue. I don't think there's an issue with him showing it, but he needs to show it within an exhibit
Okay.
or have it marked, one of the two, for purposes of the record.
Like a bracket.
Right, and for purposes of the record, this is being marked as what exhibit number?
570.
Sorry?
Approach.
570, thank you. You may approach.
Okay.
Can I retrieve it?
You may.
Does that refresh your recollection, officer?
Yes, it does.
Lieutenant? Okay. And this was March the 12th, 2016?
Yes.
So you were patrol supervisor at that time?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And something about this person led you to believe that he was possibly involved in the Feldman case?
No. Well,
Okay.
the proximity to the crime
Okay.
where he was stopped at 74th Street in Elmeria, which is at the south end of Scottsdale, near Scottsdale McDowell Road. And Allison lived at basically Pima and Thomas Road. So there was about a 3 to 4 mile distance from there. And based on the contact that the officers had with this individual, what he was wearing, and I wanted to just speak with him about it, just proximity of the contact and
Yes.
and to where Miss Feldman lived.
Yes. You noted in your report that he was walking the alleys?
Yes,
Okay, and that's an issue. Is that important in this case, in the
Well-
Feldman case?
Miss Feldman's home backed up to an alleyway.
Okay, so that's the importance of it?
Yes,
Okay. And did you collect the swab yourself?
yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know if it was tested?
I don't have the list of all the individuals. I believe it was. I coordinated with Detective Heinzelman about getting that, to acknowledge or let him know that I'd collected these buccal swabs from this individual and impounded them as evidence.
Okay. So even though you had moved to the supervisory position in patrol, you're still aware of the Feldman case and you weren't actively pursuing leads, but you were aware, and as something came up, you at least looked into it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the pattern was if there was something interesting or someone that was suspicious, they'd be interviewed and then a buccal swab would be taken?
Well, we would ask for consent initially to see if that person would be willing. We explain the circumstances, and we would ask for consent to see if they would be willing to give their DNAs to be tested against in our case.
And if that was tested and it didn't match H, then you went on to someone else?
Well, we would interview them and we would test them, and if those leads, if that test was negative, it didn't match PMH, we did move on to pursue other angles and other avenues.
Okay. I believe that's all I have. I just want to check. Just to clarify on the buccal swabs, the buccal swabs were only taken from males, is that right?
For this investigation, yes, that is correct.
Okay. You had indicated in another report that you had also gone to Walmart to review some video.
Yes.
Okay. And what was that video?
We were trying to determine if anyone had purchased any chlorine or bleach products right around the time of when Allison may have been murdered. And proximity to Walmart to Allison's home is about 1.7 miles, so it was one of the closest places that would be open at that time of the night.
And did you also look for video of a visit that Allison had on the 17th to Walmart based
Yes.
on a receipt? Were you the person that looked at that video?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And did you notice whether or not, as Allison was leaving the parking lot, if anyone was following her?
So I reviewed all the video from when Allison drove into the parking lot until when she entered the store and got her carts throughout the store, and then till when she paid, and then when she exited to her car. The video captured out to Pima Road, and it's seen driving. We could see her driving out to Pima Road and then making that left southbound turn to go south on Pima Road towards her house. And I did not see anyone that was in the parking lot or in the store or following her at that point.
Okay. And not seeing anyone, that clearly indicates that you did not see Mr. Mitchell.
No, I did not see Mr. Mitchum in that video.
Okay. I do have another question. Earlier, Mr. Rosenberry had talked to you about your actions in the master bedroom when you were in the master bedroom looking for important objects that you might want to have tested or photographed.
Yes.
Okay. And he talked to you about whether or not you had touched any of those items.
Yes.
Okay. Did you touch any of those items?
I would have been wearing protective gloves, and I may have inadvertently touched something, but I was in the scene for 4 days, and we tried our best to try to limit our contamination and try to live in any exposure, but it is possible that I may have touched something in that room.
Okay. And I think you also asked you if you breathed in the room, and of course you breathed in the room.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you aware that your DNA shows up at the scene in that room?
Yes, I learned about that information later, yes.
Okay, how did you learn about it?
I don't remember the specifics, but I was told that my DNA was found in the, on one of the dresser knobs, I believe, or
Okay.
dresser drawers that was swabbed.
Okay, but you don't remember touching the drawer?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you ever look at the report that talks about that fact? It was report number 154 from the lab unit?
No, sir, I have not reviewed that report.
Okay. Did anyone discuss with you the percentages of DNA that were found on the knob?
No, sir.
Okay. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay. And redirect by the state whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Judge. Detective, I'm going to jump around just a little bit to hit on some of the things that defense asked you about. Quickly, I want to get past you. One of the things you were asked about promoting from sergeant, that you initially put in for that promotion around 2013.
It was roughly, I think, right around 2015, maybe even the early part of 2014. I don't remember the exact date that the application process started.
But it took some amount of time from the point of the application to your getting that promotion.
Yes, so our application process is an application through our, human resources. There was a written exam, there's a oral interview, there were scenario-based questions, there was a second interview, and then based on that, you are ranked into an order of promotion time. So I think I fell into the April 2015 timeframe of when I was promoted.
And so that was just the nature of the time it takes to get through the promotion process with Scottsdale Police and get assigned a place to go work,
Yes.
so to speak. You were asked some questions, about the license, Allison's license. So I just want to show you what's already been admitted as Exhibit 112. Can you see a license in this photograph?
Yes, so Exhibit 112 right here is photo marker 19. And this would have been the drawer in Allison's kitchen. And in that drawer, it's depicting a couple different bottles of supplements, and then there's a prescription bottle. And then underneath that prescription bottle is a picture, a driver's license, an Arizona driver's license of a female. And then once we removed that, some of those bottles, we were able to learn that that female was Allison Feldman that lived on Monterey with that address.
You were asked some questions about the Blue Star agent, and you mentioned that it may react to other things in addition to blood. Do you remember those questions?
Yes.
As part of applying the Blue Star, did you find it important if the Blue Star reacted to, for instance, blood, or, as you mentioned, other things, whether it be chlorine or bleach or something else?
Yes, so I did find it very valuable because there, obviously if a red stain, it appeared to be blood, we felt pretty strongly that a Blue Star would react to it. But what we were also concerned about was the areas that did not have any blood. And we believe that these void patterns are areas that did not have blood, to see if there's any type of Clorox or bleach or anything that would have been cleaned off, that maybe blood was there at a previous time, or chlorine was there. And these void patterns on that patio, on that cool decking near the pool, had a very significant indication that that blood or chlorine had been there.
And we'll actually talk about or look at some of the Blue Star photographs with Detective Heinzelman later, but were you present when those Blue Star, a Blue Star was applied?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you asked some questions about the bottles found. I just wanted to be clear. I don't think it got lost, but was there ever any summer shandy Kugel's beer found, to your knowledge?
No, sir.
You talked about the glass pieces and that in looking at them, it appeared to be not sort of one entire bottle. As you saw those glass pieces in the home, if you put all the glass shards together, did that appear to you to be one bottle, less than one bottle, or something else?
That was one of the things that we found ironic, or not ironic, but just concerning, was the lack of number of glass shards that we could find. We found obviously pieces on the tile and then pieces in that sunken living room where a significant bloodletting event occurred there, and there was bottle shards there, but there was not enough, in my opinion, to collect to make a full bottle or even multiple bottles. So that, yes, that was concerning for me.
And we talked about the glass that was found under the couch, and you had mentioned, you mentioned that this is found when the couch is lifted. Was that, you remember those questions?
Yes, sir.
And so why would you have been lifting the whole couch? Why are you just lifting it up?
Well, we had to remove it, but also we couldn't see what's under there. So we had to actually physically lift it up to make sure that nothing that may have been caught or underneath the fabric of that couch would have been stuck to it. So when we did lift that couch out, that's when we found that that honey vice bottleneck.
And is it possible that prior to that last movement of the couch where you're physically lifting the whole thing up to get it out of there, that it could have been at previous times scooted one way or the other during the processing of the scene?
I mean, it's possible, yeah.
You were asked about sort of when you come back to the Violent Crimes Unit as a supervisor and the contact between Scottsdale Police Department and Harley Feldman in this case. You were not part of any of those in-person meetings, is that right?
That's correct.
So you would hear about them sort of indirectly?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Have you had, you said you've been involved in thousands of death investigations. You mentioned that?
Yes, yes.
Have you had other cases in which the family or next of kin to the individuals who have been murdered reach out to the Scottsdale Police Department?
Yes, I mean, we've had number of different death investigations, murder investigations, and each one of them are very unique to themselves. Sometimes family members are a lot more involved with the case or wanting to know about it. In other circumstances, in other cases, family members, or maybe they don't have a significant next of kin or somebody close to that victim, aren't as engaged in the investigation. It's just a case-by-case basis.
Moving to sort of a different topic, you were asked about some buccal swabs that you personally collected. So you do some swabbing. For instance, you'll collect a buccal swab from a person's mouth.
Yes, sir.
Do sometimes you ask for crime scene specialists to do that as well, just depending on who's available?
Yes, yeah.
And in this case, you were asked about looking specifically for a male, collecting swabs from a male. And again, we're going to hear more about DNA later, but since it came up, did you already know as part of the investigation that PMH belonged to a male based on the DNA?
Yes, we did.
You were asked some questions about sort of Alex and his smell. Do you remember those?
Yes, I do.
When you first arrive at a crime scene like this, you hear something on the radio, something's happening, and you first arrive. Do you know all of the information that you know now, sitting here today?
No, not at all.
So did you know exactly? Did you know how long it had been since Allison Feldman had last contacted a family member at that point?
Not at that time, no.
Or where Alex potentially had been prior to going to the house?
No.
So you noted whether or not you smelled anything on Alex, and I think your testimony on cross was you did not. Is that right?
That is correct.
Again, not knowing at that time if Alex had been involved somehow and had changed clothes, you might not smell anything on him. Is that fair?
That's fair, yes.
You can't really know unless it had, you don't know what happened. But if he had just been in the house and dumped a whole bunch of bleach, he might smell. You don't know.
Objection leading.
Sustained, if
Fair
you could
enough.
rephrase, please.
Will do, Judge. You noted the smell of Alex, correct?
I didn't note the smell of.
The lack of a
Alex.
smell, I should say.
I noted the lack of chlorine or a bleach type of odor emanating from him.
And so just to be clear, at the time that you're arriving at this scene, you don't know a lot of factors that could affect whether there's a smell or not.
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
In your experience, if a number of hours had passed between someone being around bleach like that and contact with, might the smell dissipate? Do you know?
It's definitely possible that if they were in a home for hours, it's hard to tell, just based on the wind too. There's some other external climate factors that could play as to whether or not you could get a definite smell. But also, I also wanted to make a visual of him to see if there's any type of staining at all from a chlorine, and I didn't see any of that.
Or any injuries on him or anything?
Or any injuries on him.
And so essentially, you're documenting what you see and what you observe at the time. Fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to move on from that. You return, just to sort of orient you to my line of questioning here, you return to violent crimes in 2016, July of 2016.
Yes, sir.
And at this point, at what point do you reassign the case from McWilliams to Heinzelman as the sort of case agent or lead detective? Roughly.
I want to say it was in the latter part of 16, maybe the early part of 17, roughly around there is when I had the case reassigned as Detective Heinzelman.
Does Detective McWilliams, is he still part of, at that point, the homicide squad?
Yes, yeah, Detective McWilliams was the co-case agent. I assigned him as a secondary to the case so he could be an integral part of the investigation.
So he still has tasks potentially assigned to him?
Yes,
He's still involved in the squad and the discussions that you mentioned, the weekly discussions?
yes.
So you ultimately make a decision to rearrange sort of the personnel that's on this case. Why do you do that?
A couple different factors. Since this was a complex investigation that has gone on for almost, for 2 years now, or a year and a half at the time, I felt it was important that another officer, another detective, I should say, that had a lot of knowledge of the case, that was very involved in using their experience and their ability for attention to detail. I felt that in a new set of eyes, maybe from a different perspective, maybe saw something a little bit differently. I wanted to make sure that opportunity was given and that opportunity was taken advantage of. So we don't have a case where it became stagnant and nothing was done.
You were asked a question even about this society in Philadelphia. Do you remember those questions?
Yes, sir.
So, sort of my question to you is, as the supervisor of the Violent Crimes Unit, were you making those decisions to kind of try those different things?
Yes, I was attempting any and all avenues that we had not previously utilized. Speaking with some of my colleagues in other agencies, the trainings, the research that I've done, the experience that I've had with dealing with extremely old investigations, cold cases, I felt like this was a really an incredible opportunity to have a set of eyes, a different perspective from a bunch of different areas to help us help identify or where to look for PMH and where that the significance behind PMH.
I don't have anything else, Judge.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, if anyone from the jury has a question for this witness, we would collect it at this time. And I see one. And counsel, you may approach. So I have a couple follow-up questions for you from the jury. The first one is, can you clarify the broken bottle situation? I was under the impression there were two broken bottles. So one was Honey Weiss, and what was the second?
Yes, so in the sunken living room kitchen area where all the blood swiping, we're using an object, probably the Swiffer, to move around the blood. There was definitely a lot of different glasses. One of the glass pieces that we found came to a creamy dark. Then we had the second bottle, which we found later at the end on Saturday the 21st. When we moved that couch up, we found that Honey Weiss bottle, which was the full neck of it, Exhibit 11, I believe.
Any follow-up by the state?
Yes, there's just a few questions. So to clarify, you indicated there's a creamy dark. Is that a different brand of Leinenkugels?
Yes, it is.
And did you find like a piece of bottle, like 566 has previously been admitted today? Did you find a bottle like this for the creamy dark, or are you saying you had reason to believe there was potentially a creamy dark bottle involved? I want to clarify.
Yeah, there was, I believe, either a label or part of the bottle that indicated it was a creamy dark. And then from that, in the coolers in the back patio, there was Leinenkugel creamy dark in a cooler on the patio. So it was, we believe that that creamy dark came from that cooler.
So just to clarify, did you find another piece of glass like this size?
No, sir, no. It was a very small piece. I believe almost it would have either a label or something that indicated on the bottle itself that it came from a creamy dark.
So the rest of what we're talking about when we talk about beer bottle pieces are the shards that we've shown pictures of. You might not have been present for all of them, but pictures of sort of glass pieces on the floor.
Yes, so the
Leading like a foundation.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
So the majority of beer bottles that we saw, we didn't find any caps. We found bottle pieces, that brown part of the Leinenkugel bottles. We didn't find any large type of labeling that said it came from a creamy dark or from a Honey Weiss or any other type of bottle. It was just the glass brown pieces. We did find that one smaller piece that indicated it came from a creamy dark. I believe it was from a label. And then that honey vice bottle cap, bottle top that we found underneath the couch. But we didn't find anything large or definitely indicating they were all smaller, a lot smaller pieces.
Thank you.
Any cross by the defense?
Just to clarify, it's still your opinion that there were 2 bottles in the scene?
Yes.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
The next question is, was all DNA found at the scene identified to a person? If not, how many unidentified, all male DNA, or male and female?
Could you just repeat that question, ma'am?
Sure. Was all DNA found at the scene identified to a person? If not, how many unidentified, all male DNA, or male and female? Question mark, if you know.
Yes. So the first part of that question is we identified all of the DNA found at the scene that came to a specific individual. We found, and those results were Alex, the Harley Feldman, and the female DNA we found, I believe we found obviously Allison's DNA because she lived there. There was no unknown there was no unknown DNA that came back to a male or a female found in the home that we collected and had tested at the crime lab. The only unknown at the time was PMH, which we eventually have discovered who the contributor of PMH being Ian Mitchum.
Any follow-up by the state?
Yeah, just kind of briefly. You ultimately your testimony today is essentially relying on the DNA work that's done by the lab, right?
Yes.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So you didn't do any DNA work yourself. I know that might be obvious.
Yes, I'm not a DNA analyst.
And perhaps would it be when it comes to whose DNA was found on which exact item, perhaps would that be a better question for someone from the lab? When it go ahead, sorry.
Yes, I mean, ultimately, I have right in front of me the exact knowledge as to what item was collected and then who it belonged to throughout the home. I know we had collected a lot of different swabs, a lot of different pieces of evidence, and we had sent all of that to the crime lab for examination analysis, so they'll be able to explain what DNA belonged to which piece of evidence.
And maybe just a question is, you mentioned, some DNA found belonged to Alex, but sitting here today, could you give me an itemized list of which item or which piece?
No, sir.
Anything else? Nothing else.
Okay. Any cross?
Yes. Are you aware that a rape kit was done in this case?
Yes.
What is a rape kit?
A
You may.